All right, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday, top of the day to you. All right, let's get started. Post haste. So, baby. All right, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Dawn, what's good, fam? Elijah, peace and blessings. Jamia, hey, girl. Hey, and everybody else already hanging out in the background. All right, y'all. Today it is Wednesday, January the 18th, 2023. It is day, hold on, moving too fast. Still trying to catch my breath from running through the house. All right, let's start over. Happy Wednesday. It is January 18th, 2023, day 318 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets. On the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,337. Today we're picking back up in The Romance of the Red Star, a biography of the earth, which is simply another name for a WASP, written by different authors. On page 10 in chapter 8, and I believe in Big Blue, it is page, the angels understood the commandments. Yeah, don't start in the same place. Hold on. It would be previous, boom, boom, boom. Sunlight. Let's see, each and every day in her. Corporate bodies. Joint heirs. See, quicken with my spirit, firstborn. Sons and daughters of the earth. Womb, born again. Hold on. I bequeath the earth for a time. Let a sign be given that they may comprehend. I don't know, y'all. Hold on. Joint procreators have done 2 services to me. Okay, hold on. I remember that. I want to say it's chapter 7, but come partake first fruits of mortality. Now, yeah, taking hand. Bow. Yeah, we read this. He who is chief shall be called God of the earth. Yeah, we stopped. Okay. Female, male, sex, comprehended. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to find a place. Ema, shalom, shalom. Hydrogen only. I'm trying to find out exactly where it is in Big Blue, but we're going to start. Sun to travel. I don't know. I condemn you not because, oh wait, I just saw that. I condemn you not because you, oh, dang. Verse 20 in chapter 7. Okay. So in Romance of the Red Star, it's page 10 at the beginning of chapter 8 or chapter VIII. And if you follow along in Big Blue, it's page 11 in Book of Jehovah, chapter 7, starting at verse 20. Rita, good morning, sis. Good morning. Okay. And then we got the places all pointed out. Let us begin. Father, we thank you for how people contribute to our lives in a way. Oh, I wanted to say something. Thank you for people to help to contribute to our lives in a way that's ever so delicate, that they guide us in a loving way when we may be off track a little bit. Let's just put it that way. Okay. I got a story to share with y'all. I'm going to start reading first. Okay. It's something that happened yesterday. It ain't got nothing to do with the prayer, though. It's just something that happened yesterday I thought was really, I don't know whether it was supernatural or what, but it's something that happened when we went up to the courthouse to get some paperwork for the company. All right, but I'll share it in a little bit, probably after we get done with this reading right here. Okay. Chapter 8, page 10. Remember, if you're in Big Blue, page 11, verse 20. The angels understood the commandments of Jehovah according to their knowledge in the Ethereal heavens, having died in infancy and having matured in the S-worlds. But they understood not the Creator according to the practice of the lower heavens. Jehovah said, I condemn ye not, because ye have become joint procreators with the Asuans, for ye have done two services unto me, which are to teach yourselves corporal things, that ye may understand and sympathize with the corporeans. And secondly, because ye have caused earth to become people with such as are capable of immortality. Right? So when the angels, the sons of God, came down and had sex with the daughters of women because they were beautiful, right? He said, you know what, I ain't pissed about that, right? Because you helped me out with two things here. So I'm going to just let y'all finish rolling with it. Y'all can figure it out. The first service was you've allowed an opportunity, or you set an opportunity in motion that's going to help you grow further, right? Second, now we've sped up the process. Now the people of earth are now capable of eternal life. Now they have eternal spirits being born on the inside of them, because heavenly beings have procreated with earthly beings who at first did not have the ability to have eternal life. Like, came from the dirt, went back to the dirt. That was it, right? But now they have spirits, and the spirits don't originate from the earth. They originate from here, right? So as they're being born and they grow, they will ascend and learn about our ways. Listen. The angels understood the commandments of Jehovah according to their knowledge in the Ethereal heavens, having died in infancy. Hold on. The angels understood the commandments of Jehovah according to their knowledge in the Ethereal heavens, having died in infancy and having matured in the S-worlds. But they understood not the Creator according to the practice of the lower heavens. Jehovah said, I condemn ye not, because ye have become joint procreators with the Asuans, for ye have done two services unto me, which are to teach yourselves corporal things, that ye may understand and sympathize with the corporeans. And secondly, because ye have caused earth to become people with such as are capable of immortality. Behold ye now what shall happen, such as are of your flesh and kin, who cohabit together, shall rise in wisdom and virtue. But such of them as cohabit with the Asuans will bring forth heirs in the descending grade of life. The first shall bring forth heirs unto everlasting life, but the second shall bring forth heirs that shall go out in darkness, of which matters your God and Lords will instruct you, that ye may, by inspiration and otherwise, learn to control the behavior of mortals unto everlasting life, and that these labors be not too severe upon you. I created the Dans and Danhas in the firmament, wherein ye may be relieved from watch by other angels coming to exchange with you. Absolutely, the parents are responsible for teaching their children in this physical plane and in the spiritual plane, right? Great Spirit, shalom, shalom, communicator. Blessings from Sydney, Australia. Hey, Derek, shalom, shalom, and everybody else hanging out in the background. Top of the day to you. This also do I put upon you, that to rule over mortals to virtue by your own wills, governing them in all things, is contrary to my commandments. For what honor hath any man if made to do a thing? But ye shall give mortals of my light, leaving them to choose. Better is it for them to suffer some than to grow up in ignorance of the stings of disobedience. Behold, I make this a willing service on your part, because ye have bound your affections on earth to your kin. Ye willingly become guardian angels over mortals. Yet I make not a separate law unto you. As it is with you, so shall it be with the spirits of these mortals when they are born into the S world. Born into the S world means you die here. That's what we call it. We call it death, but it's literally you being born into the spirit world. You're being fully born, right? That's the real birth, the real life. Yet I make not a separate law unto you. As it is with you, so shall it be with the spirits of these mortals when they are born into the S world. They will also desire to become guardian angels over their mortal kin. But these spirits, never having known my higher heavens, will be unsuitable for the office of ashars. They would be but as blind leading the blind. So when you first die, you can't automatically step into the role of a guardian angel, right? You can't do that. You're going to have to continue to rise. Like if you're a teachable spirit, if you died understanding some things, you're going to probably ascend, continue ascending. But those who don't, and they willingly stay attached to the earth, they won't be ashars, right? They may be hanging around family members, but it's going to come to a point where they possibly begin to overshadow and even possess, right? We've seen a lot of cases of this. And there was something I was going to share with y'all. It was a guy. I started to share it. So, because I first saw the clip, you know, the Disney star, Orlando, I think his last name Brown. That's So Raven. He played on That's So Raven. Yeah, okay, Orlando Brown. Somebody made a clip of him. Granted, dude, he's been having a rough go at life for a while now. Got hooked on drugs. It's a lot of different things, and he openly talks about some of his abuse that he suffered while a Disney star, right? So, but somebody showed a clip, and I was watching it, and I was like, dang, that's clearly overshadowing. But it was coming in spurts. I was like, I gotta see this whole interview, because the clip that they pulled out just actually kind of caught the clip where you could clearly see, like, if you've been here for a little while we've been reading through Field Guide to the Spirit Realm, you'll be able to pick it out, and you will see every time a different spirit clicked over him. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, I got to find this whole interview. I got to watch it all the way through. So I found it. It's like an hour and a half long. I think I'm going to still share it with y'all. I think I'm going to share the clip that was pulled out. It's probably about 5 minutes, right? And that's what caught my attention. I'm like, where is the full interview? But at the beginning of the interview now, he starts off okay. It may have been his native spirit, but you could tell with each question that was answered and how he gets into each question, how the spirits that are speaking begin to change. And I'm watching it like in live action. And this was just done a couple weeks ago. And then there was another one that I saw popped up that they did like a few months ago. But it's really, really interesting, right? But I began to notice some things. When he's talking out of his mind, I would say he's talking out of his mind, not because it's not him that's talking. It's whatever spirit that's gotten a hold of him. And I would say it's all of this started with him during his days of abuse early on in life, right? We're talking about Orlando Brown, right? So he not all the way crazy. He has moments of clarity and sanity where you can tell dude is a genius and he speaks a lot of truth. But you can also clearly tell. If you have been trained to recognize stuff like this from the spiritual realm, when the spirits click over on the inside of him and they like take control, I'm like, yo, whoa, is anybody paying attention? So I was going through the comments, reading the comments. I'm like, nobody here is aware what's happening with him. Like, you can clearly see it. I gotta show it to y'all, right? I just thought about this. This didn't say anything about it, but it was just talking about how coming back being a shards, like when you first die, you're not suited for that. So, but I'm gonna share that with y'all. Y'all gotta see it. I want y'all to count to see. I haven't counted, but I said that's something I was gonna do. I was gonna count, and all of the spirits may not even be manifesting in this video. Try and count and see how many different personalities, by the way he conveys his answers, is talking. There's even one that he gets up there, and there could be an argument that he was just being a little animated, but the way he did it and doing like this, I was like, oh, that's a woman. He done clicked over, that's a woman talking now. You know, the way he did it, I was like, it's scary because it's real life and this can really happen to people. Yeah, he does. It's like he really, right. You can clearly see that. My son said, he said, you know, it's like he crying out for help, but them spirits pretty much won't let him go.
It's a funny interview of him and Funny Marco. It's probably about a 30-minute clip, but you can see him going back and forth from him to something else and just asking crazy questions to clicking back over to
it's crazy. And like my heart really goes out to him. Like I prayed for him yesterday after watching it, like, because I was about in tears watching this. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, all these people around him, nobody can see what's happening. Like he's crying out for help, like all the different run-ins with the cops and all these different things. I'm like, has there been nobody? Look how many years it's been. He's been in the public eye recently because of all the negative press, but is there nobody around him that's spiritually sensitive that can see this? They can see the cries for help? Clearly not, because they still interview him. It's like they're getting a kick out of it. And my heart really goes out to him. It's crazy. I'm going to share that with y'all. So, but Kevin, shalom. Yeah, he's definitely in there somewhere battling. I bet you. Some I do a little bit, Kevin, right? Just look. Because I'm looking for stuff like this now, right? He said, I bet you watch ghost hunting videos and the like. But they have, well, some of them are shenanigans, right? They do it for views and their ratings and all that stuff. But sometimes it be some real stuff happening, right? Yeah, his real spirit is screaming out amongst the group of spirits that's inhabiting him. You know, so it's definitely, I want to say, definitely there's more than three. There's more than three, whether he's being possessed or he's being overshadowed, oppressed, and he has mood swings and they go back and forth with depression. I mean, he's been treated for depression, like all of this stuff. I'm like, man, where is his spiritual help? So, but oh my gosh, it's sad. So, I mean, I guess we could help. We don't know him personally, but his life is being broadcast, you know. So with what we know that there is no distance, like in the spiritual realm with prayer. Maybe we could drop a few prayers for him, talk to his ashars or something. Father, surround him with people that's close, that is trained, that can, you know, at least, I don't know, you know, something like that. But we can help, even though we don't know them, but we can see what's happening real time, real live. We can do something. We got a little bit of pull, right? We understand and we learn it. So I'm just saying. Okay. Yeah, I really do hope he get the help he needs, right? I really hope there's some spiritual people really come into his life immediately. Okay. Let me see. Matter of fact, let me just go back up to at the top of page 11. Jehovah said, I condemn ye not, because ye have become joint procreators with the Assuans, for ye have done two services unto me, which are to teach yourselves corporal things, that ye may understand and sympathize with corporeans. And secondly, because ye have caused earth to become peopled with such as are capable of immortality. Behold, Behold ye now what shall happen, such as are of your flesh and kin who cohabit together. Behold ye now what shall happen, such as are of your flesh and kin who cohabit together shall rise in wisdom and virtue, but such of them as cohabit with the Asuans will bring forth heirs in the descending grade of life. The first shall bring forth heirs unto everlasting life, but the second shall bring forth heirs that shall go out in darkness, of which matters your God and Lords will instruct you, that ye may, by inspiration and otherwise, learn to control the behavior of mortals unto everlasting life, and that these labors be not too severe upon you. I created the Dans and the Danhas in the firmament, wherein ye may be relieved from the watch by other angels coming to exchange with you. And we know that they also do it on Sabbath days as well. There's a changing of the guard of your Ashars, your guardian angels, those who watching over you on Sabbaths, right? They do it on the lower levels as well as the bigger levels, the cycles and seasons. This also do I put upon you, that to rule over mortals to virtue by your own wills, governing them in all things, is contrary to my commandments. For what honor hath any man if made to do a thing? But ye shall give mortals of my light, leaving them to choose. Better it is for them to suffer some than to grow up in ignorance of the stings of disobedience. Behold, I make this a willing service on your part, because ye have bound your affections on earth to your kin. Ye willingly become guardian angels over mortals. Yet I make not a separate law unto you. As it is with you, so shall it be with the spirits of these mortals when they are born into the S-world. They will also desire to become guardian angels over their mortal kin. But these spirits, never having known my higher heavens, will be unsuitable for the office of Ashars. They would be but as the blind leading the blind. To prevent which, God and his lords shall provide these spirits in the first resurrection with places to dwell in, and with occupations and opportunities for education. For I desire them not to remain bound to earth, but to rise up and inherit my Etherian worlds. And in this also shall ye be discreet in governing them, giving them the light of my heavens with some liberty to choose and to perfect themselves. Otherwise, they would only be slaves in heaven, according to their weakness or strength. And so shall ye provide for these new spirits entering my S-world. Therefore, such of you as are appointed by my God and my lords as guardians over mortals shall be called Ashars, and ye shall report to your respective lords according to the sections of the earth where ye may be. Of many watches shall be the Ashars. And such of you as are appointed to receive the spirits of the dead into heaven shall be called Asaphs, and ye shall report to your respective lords. And the Ashars shall make a record of every mortal, of the grade of his wisdom and good works. And when a mortal dies and his spirit is delivered to the Asaphs, the record shall be delivered with him, and the Asaph receiving shall deliver such spirit with the record into such place in these heavens as is adapted to his grade, where he shall be put to labor and to school according to the place of the resurrections which I created. So depending on how far you got here and your understanding of spiritual things will determine where you go. Like if you need to go to remedial, remedial is in and not really remedial classes, so to speak, right? They trying to get you out of there. It's like you still waiting for the bus to come get you. And it ain't nobody, I ain't gonna say ain't nobody watching you, but the ones there, they just continue hyping you on to do more of what you did before you left. They got you in trouble. They got you waiting for an extra long time, if that makes any sense. Hotter, hell, whatever. It's closely intertwined, that first resurrection, that first heaven with the earth, right? All right, so hopefully you don't get stuck there, and you've learned enough to graduate to a place where your learning can continue developing. But even those there in that area, those are the ones who have been like completely blinded. They're completely dense of a lot of spiritual things, or maybe they think they're spiritual, but they've got caught up in religion, right? And so you gravitate to that place until you can be delivered out of that. Your eyes can be opened that there needs to be a re-education. This was not true. Like you're worshiping a lesser entity that should not be, right? Yeah. Captain. But it ain't gonna be, look, I don't know. What you say? We get to laugh at life's bullies riding a short bus. I mean, yeah, but when it become real, right? It was like, man, I sure wish you would have got that together while we was there. But I catch you when you come. I'm on my way, buddy. I mean, I don't think we're gonna be laughing. We're gonna probably be pitying them, possibly. Like, dude, we was trying to tell you, but I be good. All right, I'm going on to bigger and better things. And you started sending, right? But it ain't gonna be funny. All right, hold on. Let me go back and read this. And the Ashars shall make a record of every mortal of the grade of his wisdom and good works. And when the mortal dies and his spirit is delivered to the Asaphs, the record shall be delivered with him. And the Asaph receiving shall deliver such spirit with the record. Meaning your entire life written down, I'm going to say on the scroll, like all of that. Okay, John Peterson. Yep, here you go. This is John Peterson's life. Here you go. Have fun with that. They were like, you did what, John? Oh, yeah, bro. We got, come on. You gonna fit right in over here. John Peterson. We've been waiting for John, bro. John walking in there like, what place is this? You gonna need to strip from some of them clothes. It's get kind of hot over here. Listen, hold up. And the Ashars shall make a record of every mortal of the grade of his wisdom and good works. And when a mortal dies and his spirit is delivered to the Asaphs, the record shall be delivered with him. And the Asaph receiving shall deliver such spirit with the record into such place in these heavens as is adapted to his grade, where he shall be put to labor and to school according to the place of the resurrections which I created. And ye shall thus become organic in heaven with teachers and physicians, and with capitals, cities, and provinces, and with hospitals, nurseries, schools, and factories. Even so shall ye ultimately inspire man on earth to the same things. And we can clearly see all those things all around the earth here. And mortals that are raised up to dominion over mortals shall be called kings and emperors. As my gods and lords are called my sons, so shall the kings and emperors be called sons of God. Through him shall they be raised up to their places and given dominion unto my glory. And that's where we're going to pause. That was one chapter. Actually, it's one chapter left, and then we start the cycle of Sathantes. That's also something that's different here. I think I mentioned it before, to whereas Big Blue and all the other books calls it like the Book of Jehovah, the Book of Sathantes. This calls it the cycle of Sathantes, the cycle of Fragapati or Fragapati, and so on and so forth. Right, so we'll pause right here for this chapter, which is chapter 9. Let me mark my spot here in Big Blue. Willing. Oh, that starts right there. Okay, that's easy enough. I need another sticky. That thing heat. In Big Blue, it'll be chapter 8 at the very beginning tomorrow. Okay. All right, beautiful people. Okay, so I said is I want to share a little story with y'all. It ain't got nothing to do with the reading per se, but it is, I think, like spiritual happenings, goings on that happen. Okay, so yesterday I had to go I was out in Virginia Beach. I had to go to the courthouse. It feels weird because it's quiet. Everybody's still asleep, right? Everybody's still asleep. So went out to the courthouse in Virginia Beach. Some government certifications that we're doing requires clearly background checks, right? So I had to go out there, take care of the paperwork for that. But while we were there, this time I took the 4 Mini-Murfs with me, right? So all 5 of us, me, Josh, Josiah, Isaiah, and Bella, at the courthouse, go in. You know, I walk to a courthouse, can't take in nothing. They trying to take in switches. No electronics, nothing. Leave everything. I even got to take off my watch. I can't even bring in my phone. Check your pockets. Make sure you ain't got nothing metal. I'm shaking everybody down before we go into the courthouse because I do not want to walk back to the car. But anyway, long story short, we made it through without incident nor accident. And so we get up there, get the paperwork, all that stuff, and we're coming back out. So as we're coming back out, you know, it's Tuesday, court cases going on. I would say crowded, not that crowded, but it's a lot of people in and out of stuff, right? People going for court cases for everything. Didn't see anybody in handcuffs or anything like that. Sometimes you will see that, but not yesterday. I didn't. So as we were coming back, I was like, okay, everybody need to go to the bathroom before we go because it's going to be like a 30-minute ride, right? Probably a little bit longer than that because we had to stop at a couple more places. So Bella was like, I gotta go. Then the boy said, yeah, we gotta go too. So I'm like, okay. So I'm looking for the bathroom. I found the woman. I'm not out there in that courthouse often. And I didn't ask anybody. I'm just like, we can find it. It's a couple on every floor. So we found the women's bathroom. Went in there, checked. Nobody's in there. All right, boys, everybody come in. Everybody can go. It's the women's bathroom. I said, ain't nobody in here. Come on, we can all get in, get out. It's multiple stalls. Come in here, use the bathroom. Bella, it's like, I'm going in. I was like, no, I know. And Josh, Sai, and Zay said, no, Mom, it's the women's bathroom. We're not going in there. I said, I'm your mom. Nobody's in here. I would rather it be this way. Come in. They refused to. I'm like, all right, fine. Sit right here. Me and Bella gonna go in and we'll be right back out. Isaiah said, I gotta go. I'm coming in with y'all. So he comes in, me, Bella, Zay in there, take care of business. While they doing that, I stick my head back out the door, make sure they're okay. They sitting there nice and quiet. They said, we gotta go. I said, I told y'all to come in. They said, can we look for a men's bathroom? I said, okay. I said, I don't think it's one down here. I said, but go look at that end of the hall right there, right? And nobody at this point was in the hall. So they got up, walked down to all the way to the end of the hall. I said, yes, it's a bathroom. I said, sweet. All right, wait a minute. Come back. And so, because it was just me with them. Like, if their dad had been there, they would have been gone. Babe, we'll meet you back out here at this point. Come back, get Bella out, Zay, done, wash hands, come out. All right, let's go. So we're coming out, and we're walking down, and Zay said, we're supposed to go this way. It was like, they found the men's bathroom. Let's go down here. So we go down there, and Isaiah was mad at this point, and he smacked his head like this, like, oh, why didn't you tell me it was a men's bathroom and I went into the women's bathroom? I said, nobody was in there, Isaiah. We didn't even know that this was down here. They just happened to look while you was in there. So now he mad. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to go in there with him. So we got to the men's bathroom. There's another bench sitting right out there. And so they go in, right? So me and Bella sitting there. And here's what happened, right? You could say, like, coincidence. I don't know. But I think there was something spiritual that happened. I shared it with my husband. I was like, it was weird. Listen, by the time we got down there, nobody was in that hall. You're right. There was a quiet moment where we walked down there. Nobody even passed through the corridor or anything like this. But when we got down there, and I didn't even feel anybody come up behind me, right? So me and Bella sitting right there, and I'm talking to her, like, facing the men's bathroom. I'm probably about this point, we kind of like walking around the hall when I backed up, and I'm probably about maybe like 10 steps away at this point from the men's bathroom. Me and Bella just out there talking or whatever, right? And here comes this guy up behind us, like older white gentleman, and not even that old. I would probably say maybe late 40s. Maybe late 40s. He had facial hair, but it looked all scraggly and everything. And so I saw him walking, and then I saw him go like he was about to go into the men's bathroom, and immediately my mind I went into alert mode. I'm ready to fight you. Man ain't did nothing, but I feel really weird because when he went to the door, when I saw he was about to touch the door, I started walking because I was going to go in there right behind him. Hold it, boys, let's go right now. Right. I was going to walk in there right behind him. But here's what happened. I immediately, and it happened so quick, but it's almost like I saw it in slow motion. I saw him when I realized he was headed for the men's bathroom where my 3 small boys was at. I immediately went into alert mode, and I don't even know how to explain this. You know how if you feel like your children are in trouble, it's weird. Maybe moms can relate to me. There's like this an immediate cry that comes from your being, like without you even opening your mouth. It's like a moment of realization my children might be in trouble, and it just comes from you, right? That's the best way I can explain that. But that's what happened at that moment. And at that moment when I felt that, he stopped and he turned around and looked at me, and I looked right at him, right? He hadn't touched the doorknob yet to go into the bathroom. He looked at me, he was touching it. I mean, when I say he looked scraggly, like not trying to say he was some nefarious person, but that's what I felt, right? He wasn't in chains or anything. I don't even know where he came from. I'm not even sure if he's seen us like walking, because nobody was in the hall with us at that time, but I felt that. And when that immediately I went on alert, like I could feel my entire being, like I was inflamed, like, and you could probably say for no good reason, but it just like immediately, right? I'm just like, and ain't nobody on this hall. Like if I scream or something, because I would be inside the bathroom, who would really hear, right? So, and I put Bella like, right, I looked behind me real quick, put Bella right here, and he must have felt that when it came from me, caught eye contact with me, and went to go put his hand, here's where the kicker is. He went to go put his hand on the doorknob. When I made eye contact him, when he did like this, he said, look, his whole face changed when he tried to touch the doorknob. He said, and he turned around, looked at me again, and walked away. I'm like, look, I said, damn right. That's what I said. I'm like, whew, because I was like inflamed, like nothing happened. But you know how you can feel something, and we in the courthouse, but if you crazy, it don't matter where you gonna bust out and be crazy at, right? I don't know, but it was just a whole something that I felt going on in the unseen realm that I really couldn't quite put my hand on it, but it was like, I was like alerted immediately. You could probably say it's overprotective or whatever, but this whole thing, how it played out with him even trying to touch the doorknob and then did like this, and you can see his expression like it was hot or something. And he walked away. And about 1 minute, here come my boys, none the wiser walking. I said, let's go, right? And I was just like, I'm looking around, and I seen them steady walking that way. I was like, let's go. I'm like, I don't know what that was, but thank you. Whatever that was preventing him from touching that door, right? And it could have just been, I don't know. Maybe it could have been spirits hanging around him, children attaching, something, I don't know. But it was weird. I shared it with my husband, and he was like, oh my God, right? But that's not like the first time stuff like that has happened, right? Especially when it involves my children, because if shenanigans going on around my children, there's like this thing on the inside of me that just, it comes out. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, but it just happens. And something like that happens when my children are protected. And you could be standing around, you probably wouldn't even notice. You would think nothing was wrong, right? It's crazy. It was crazy. I've been thinking about that ever since it happened. My husband like, wow. He was like, Father, thank you for protection, right? Because we are super overly protective when we go out. We won't even let our children go over most family members' house. Not that we have nefarious family members, but that's just how overprotective we are. Like, you want to stay tonight? No, y'all come over here and stay tonight. We know what's going on over here, and everybody going to be safe. Not that they ain't going to be safe anywhere else, but that's just how we are. And I don't think anything is wrong with that, but I know I be screaming about my house be full of noise and stuff, but it's okay. we know that this is a safe place. Like I said, not that theirs is not, but that's just, you know. But that's what I wanted to share with y'all. Right, BC? That I feel like that your gut is literally your second brain. And my gut has never steered me wrong, even with business and stuff. Because like I share with my husband sometimes when I get this, it just comes out of me like this gut feeling. I'm like, babe, we probably should not pursue this. Like, don't do this. Like, I feel it so strongly. Like, don't do this. And at first, he's like, girl, you're just doing too much. Till something happens. And he was like, you know what? I think he was right. We probably should not have. I was like, you probably should not. That's what I was thinking. I ain't say it like to rub it in. But in my mind, I was saying, you should have listened to me in the first place. I'm trying to tell you. Right now, we got to suffer because you ain't listen. I didn't say it out loud, but I said it in my head. But outside, I'm like, babe, it's going to be okay. It's all right. We live and we learn. Right? So I want to say that don't ever disregard, not that y'all do, but if somebody here that ever disregards their gut feeling, sometimes it just can't be put in any other words other than that, but like a gut feeling. Like, do not ignore that in any circumstance, whether you're at work, whether you're just out by yourself, even if you're driving, you got a gut feeling not to turn down that street. I'm telling you, go with it. Even if you never see anything that comes of turning down that street or whatever, just learn how to listen to that and obey it. Yo, it's crazy, right? So, yeah, that's kind of, it was made the hair on my skin stand up just thinking about it, right? Because I'm not sure what could have happened. I don't know. But it's just, something wasn't right? So, that was it. Uncle JB, shalom, shalom. Yeah. Look, what you say? That's that stuff that make a giant man fear a little woman. I like that. I like that, BC. I like that saying. Okay, y'all. All right, so that was my little story I wanted to share with y'all. Let's hop on over here into this reincarnation. On page 295, where we paused at, we are in Delusions and Science and Spirituality. Remember, this is just a little side road that we're taking as a recommendation while we were reading Susan B. Martinez, Field Guide to the Spirit Realm, right? Okay. So, but once we get done with this reincarnation chapter, we're going right back there to finish up reading the last chapter there. All right. We will read this in its entirety. I'm just not sure exactly where we're going to stick it in the lineup. Because next we're doing It Sings Gospel of Peace. All right. Take the shalom, say shalom, shalom. What, Fritz? What you mean? You talking about a person that you labeled as the devil. Listen, Fritz said 30-some years ago, the devil would drive by me, then disappear. Like, you got to be, like, what do you mean drive by you? Like I said, a person you labeled, you called the devil? Surely not the devil. Nazarene is saying shalom, shalom. Time thing, girl, hey. I'll let you answer that. Okay, so we paused on page 295 at the bottom. What? Riding in the car, flying, and into, what's that, the next dimension? What? I mean, I'm not laughing at you, because I know some crazy stuff happened. If you said it happened, it happened. Riding in the car, flying, and go into another dimension. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm not saying like, okay, I mean, but because I've clearly had, maybe not the devil, but a person that portrayed themselves as the devil, right? Because clearly I know better now, but in my dreams it would like the devil, but the devil wasn't like the devil, red pitchforks and horns. It was, here's what's crazy. Because in my dreams, the devil is always like this, not white, but this Italian man. It's weird. Like, it's really weird, but I know it's the devil. It's stupid. Now, maybe not, but I don't even know why he would be Italian. The devil would be Italian. I don't know. I just kept that to myself. Being in a black car. I don't know. You driven for miles, daydreaming on the highway. I'm sure a lot of us have done that. Be careful, because sometimes it's like, oh my God, how do I get in front of my door? Like, I don't remember none of this drive. All right, y'all, let's start reading this. Okay. Page 295, the last paragraph. Karma was the connecting thread in life. Readings given by Edgar Cayce and subsequent imitators. Many times, states a Cayce biographer, quote, he had to exercise the dark tenets of predestination and original sin from the hopelessness and confusion in the minds of the people who came to him for help, end quote. Langley, 1967. Cayce, in other words, had something better to offer guilt-ridden Christians. But let us ask, is there any difference between the reincarnationist fixed and unalterable karma and the very gospel of original sin and predestination, which the Cayceites so deplore? And there's an asterisk after deplore, and it says at the bottom, to Arnold Toynbee, the two doctrines are almost identical. Listen to this. Quote, one variant is the Christian conception of original sin. The other is the Indic conception of karma. And they agree in the essential point of making the spiritual chain of cause and effect run on continuously from one earthly life to another. How many of y'all ever thought about that? Even Christians, they don't call it reincarnation. They call it original sin. Listen, I'm going to read this over. I'm going to just start over. Karma. Hold on. Maybe I should. Let me go back a paragraph that we read. Let me just go back. I'm going to go back to the end of this story because I'm going to keep all of this together because we probably forgot exactly how this was flowing. So let me go back to the previous page, page 294, under the story of the king, the parrot, and the hunchback. That's where we're going to begin. The New Age has been with us for a while, apparently offering various alternatives to religion. The failure of the old religions has left a vacuum. The recovering Catholic, as the phrase goes, or the renegade Christian, or even the born atheist, still craves a taste of the sublime, of which is permanent and full of glory. But with the widespread rejection of formal religion has come another God, another kind of blind faith, the church of materialism itself, the tabernacle of the flesh, and with it, the rite of re-embodiment. Quote, the secret source, end quote, of reincarnation's popularity, surmised William Butler, a 19th century thinker, is materialistic prejudices. What he meant is the glorification of man by resurrecting him in the flesh. And in doing so, we confine all our beingness to the level of earth, the physical. Karma can only be worked out in the body. Thus does the spirit world lose all importance except as a tawdry waiting room, a holding tank for souls hoping to return to materiality in brand new bodies. And all the great truths of the ongoing are cast aside. The theory of reincarnation makes karma the kingpin. All suffering can be explained by past life mischief without bothering with present day iniquities and human misery. Karma will explain it all. Why do we suffer? So that we may atone for our peccadillos committed in a former existence. For instance, the family that produced a Down syndrome child was told that the little boy's past life sins created the, quote, need to incarnate in a deformed state, end quote. Langley, 1967, page 38. The scars of our passions, it is explained, quote, reach down the centuries, end quote. Langley, 1967, page 38. And the resulting torment is the only path to redemption for our blighted selves. Ignoring any monstrous causes from this very life, the reincarnationist tells us to trace the root of our problems to past life wrongdoing. And it is a, quote, fixed and unalterable, end quote. Hold on. And it is a law, quote, fixed and unalterable, end quote. Langley, 1967, page 38. But this fictitious logic breaks down when we consider the further claim that we have no knowledge of our previous existence. How then can we learn from the putative sins we cannot even remember? And this is where we pick up today. Karma was the connecting thread in life readings given by Edgar Cayce and subsequent imitators. Many times, states a Cayce biographer, quote, he had to exercise the dark tenets of predestination and original sin from the hopelessness and confusion in the minds of people who came to him for help, end quote. Langley, 1967. Cayce, in other words, has something better to offer guilt-ridden Christians. But let us ask, is there any difference between the reincarnationist, fixed and unalterable karma and the very gospel of original sin and predestination, which the Caycites so deplore? And the asterisk says again, to Arnold Toynbee, the two doctrines are almost identical. Quote, one variant is the Christian conception of original sin. The other is the Indic conception of karma. And they agree in the essential point of making the spiritual chain of cause and effect run on continuously from one earthly life to another, end quote. Toynbee, 1961, page 447. And both of them causes you to completely ignore the present, which we are in the present. We should be developing ourselves in the present, right? But karma has you looking at a past life. Christianity has you looking forward to a coming life, like you're completely ignoring, like you're moving today, but you always looking ahead because Jesus coming to get you, or whatever Christian lie you're caught up in. It never really has you focusing on today and developing yourself today. What you're trying to do is to make sure you are doing this, or you're waiting, or sometimes people be waiting and they get immobilized and don't do anything, right? Cosmic Cow, yo, shalom, shalom. All right. Page 295. Let me read this. Cayce, in other words, had something better to offer guilt-ridden Christians. But let us ask, is there any difference between the reincarnationist, fixed and unalterable karma and the very gospel of original sin and predestination, which the Caycites so deplore? After all, the newborn babe, in their philosophy, is shorn of innocence and purity by the daunting law of karma. He has sinned. His birthright is, in this sinister philosophy, sullied by the taint of alleged crimes and misdemeanors in a past life. Instead of fledgling hope and fresh life, the new arrival is branded a repository of decrepit and vile karma that needs to be purged. Who needs original sin if we have karma to ruin our destiny? First, they decry the Christian concept of sin, then bring it right back, described as our own fault, our own karma. One reincarnationist has tried to explain the difference. Quote, all men are certainly born with an inheritance of sin, but it is original sin with themselves and not with the allegorical characters of Adam and Eve. End quote. Enough to turn one's stomach, this writer goes on to offer as an example the plight of slaves brought from Africa who might well, quote, think on their own past life sins, end quote. Sermonara, 1967, page 208. Does this then justify slavery? Neither is this approach any different than a medieval belief that persecution and hardship are divine punishment for our sins. One reincarnationist goes on to enlighten us that, quote, the cosmic justice pattern of the law of karma might bring a sense of justice to a world indifferent to the way it distributed wealth and misery, end quote. Wiseman, 1977, page 42. I note that this brand of justice is peddled by white, upper or middle class reincarnationists who, washing their hands of human misery, are too attached to the status quo to do anything about it in the here and now. Let the future, another lifetime, take care of all those social inequalities that they bemoan. Let some future embodiment work out of the balance sheet, thus keeping racism and every other social shame alive and well. Thus does the theory betray its own spineless compliance, whitewashing all the troubles of this sorry world. Not to worry, future lives will iron out all the disparities. Alfred North Whitehead was once asked his opinion of Buddhism, a religion known to embrace the rebirth doctrine. Quote, "It is a religion of escapism," end quote. He replied, quote, "You retire into yourself and let externals go as they will. There is no determined resistance to evil. Buddhism is not associated with any advancing civilization," end quote. Whitehead, 1956, page 155. Apart from its escapist value, I really don't understand the siren call of a concept that flings us from life to life in relentless unfulfillment of justice, leaving us a half-complete being, a slave of rebirth, bondsman of the past, beggar of the future. From end to end, or from end, I-N-N, to end, I-N-N. Quote, "Reincarnation is an alluring form of escapism which belongs in the wilderness of Reincarnation is an alluring form of escapism which belongs in the wilderness of human thinking, the jungle of false concepts," end quote. Harold Sherman, You Live After Death. So we can just sit back, relax, light up a lucky, and let karmic justice take its slow course. No need to lift a finger for your fellow man, because superior spirits have whispered the answers in your ear, telling you reincarnation is the great equalizer. In many of our lifetimes, says professional reincarnationist Genevieve Paulson, we will experience all ways of being, as well as all races. Really? Not according to Miss Paulson's fellow reincarnationist, James Perkins, who in Experiencing Reincarnation, that's a book, Experiencing Reincarnation, 1977, discusses the Japanese people and their repeated incarnations in the same group. Quote, "This tendency to reincarnate in the same race is even more evident in the Jewish people," end quote, says Perkins. So they can't even get their reincarnation stories together. Some say you only reincarnate into your own race. Some of them say you can reincarnate, become a butterfly or ladybug, or a grasshopper. You want to be a horse next life? Oh, yeah, you can be a cat. Some of them, they said you're going to become all races. So one time you're going to be black. The next life you might be white. The next life you could be Chinese. Next life you want to be Korean. Okay, well, let's go, right? It's like, really? Hold on. Let me read this again. So we can just sit back, relax, light up a lucky, and let karmic justice take its slow course. No need to lift a finger for your fellow man, because superior spirits have whispered the answers in your ear, telling you reincarnation is the great equalizer. In our many lifetimes, says professional reincarnationist Genevieve Paulson, we will experience all ways of being, as well as all races. Really? Not according to Miss Paulson's fellow reincarnationist, James Perkins, who in Experiencing Reincarnation, 1977, discusses the Japanese people and their repeated incarnation in the same group. Quote, "This tendency to reincarnate in the same race is even more evident in the Jewish people," end quote, says Perkins. "A man has a soul and it passes," this is a quote, "A man has a soul and it passes from life to life as a traveler from end to end quote, was H. Fielding Hall's 1859 to 1917 pleasant dream. But wait a second. The traveler is not really himself. I'm not really me. No, I'm somebody else freeloading in my body, the regurgitation of some old soul. We are recycled souls using this life to work out some ancient karma. The deformed, bizarre, and illogical dialect of rebirth is truly stupefying. And if rebirth is true, when did it begin? In the last lifetime, the one before, how far back must we go to find the original soul? Neanderthal times, Adam and Eve, the Big Bang. One celebrity reincarnationist solves the riddle. Quote, we have all experienced many incarnations in many forms from the beginning of time. End quote. McLean, 1986, page 313. How convenient. So unless we go back to the, quote, beginning of time, end quote, even our past self was not himself. He was only someone else living in his body. And if I was a different gender in a past life, what am I now? A man in a woman's body? One Westerner writer informs us that a member of India's untouchable caste, C-A-S-T-E, untouchable caste, was, quote, born into so low a stratum of society to expiate the arrogance of evil of a former incarnation, end quote. Sir Minara, 1967, page 219. So that makes everything copacetic. It is significant that the rebirth doctrine as, quote, carrot, end quote, attained a certain foothold in the land of India. What could be more welcome in this land of fixed case than a doctrine that lets the What could be more welcome in this land of fixed case than a doctrine that lets the turn of the wheel give, quote, a chance for the development of the neglected or abused, end quote. Head and Cranston, 1961, page 24. With karma, we are handed the biggest voodoo of them all, the greatest folderol of all time, the slyest sophistry known to humanity, that the immortal soul can and should enter a mother's womb for a new round in the school of life. For return we must on the pitiful wheel of rebirth known to the Hindus as samsara. One common criticism of reincarnation focuses on the unlikely glamour and fame of one's past life, as Cleopatra, Joan of Arc, Napoleon, and so on. Defenders of the faith have attempted to counter the charge by citing cases of a humble, poor drab, uninteresting prior self. Plain old Bridie Murphy would be a good example. Yet a greater, more serious reproof exists: the frequent occurrence of sudden death suffered by those who have now come back. This is the most telltale statistic, a life cut short. The case histories of so-called past lives are top-heavy with sudden death. Why? Often quite oblivious to their abrupt transition, such spirits do not rise up and may, even inadvertently, lodge themselves in the aura of the living. And that is where we are going to pause. But before we end it, there is another little cartoon. Actually, this is one we saw already in that they have in Field Guide to the Spirit World. Remember these two ladies sitting at the desk, the Reincarnation Job Center, with the picture of Attila the Hun right here, and the lady right here. This is the psychic and the cat right here. The cat doing little side eyes at this woman, right? She's the gullible person right here. This is the person that's pushing the reincarnation doctrine. The lady holding this book right here is the lady that's trying to persuade her that she can go back, and she's pulling from her box of lives, upcoming ones that are available. Like some of these, if you look real close, you can see it says reserved, but the one in her hand is Attila the Hun, and it says available. So she was like, would you like to come back as Attila the Hun? So I'm gonna read it for you. So the first one, the lady sitting at the job center with Attila the Hun, she's saying to the gullible lady that just died, we're completely overbooked on Napoleon, Anne of Cleves, and Joan of Arc. How does Attila the Hun grab you? And over here to the next one with the lady with the cat, the ignorant lady, I would say, she says, I feel sure I was Florence Nightingale in a past life. And the lady holding the cat pouring pouring the tea, says, "Oh, but Florence communicates regularly through our home circle." And the cat looking like, got one eye closed and one eye open, looking like, is she buying it? Apparently, she is very gullible, right? All right, beautiful people. So that's it for today. We just 5 minutes over the hour mark, right? So we're going to leave it as that. Tomorrow we pick back up with this section that says sudden death and goes more into the reincarnation and people who believe into it when they die a sudden death. 9. This was 10. I gave y'all the page number, but I didn't write it down. So 11. Okay. I should put Big Blue. Big Blue was actually chapter. Did I not stick the thing in here again? I could have sworn I put one in here. I did. I just couldn't see it. Okay. It'll be, in Big Blue, it'll be page 12, the beginning of chapter 8. Chapter VIII. Okay. All right. That's on page 12. All right, beautiful people. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the reading for today and me sharing my little incident that happened yesterday, right? Be mindful, gut feelings, stuff like that. Ray Shalom says hi. All right, y'all. That is it for today. Father, we thank you for gut feelings. Yes, let's call them. Let's say that. Thank you for gut feelings, right? That's the way we express it. I'm sure there's a spiritual term that would probably fit better, but for us, we just call it our gut feeling, right? I'm sure there's a spiritual term. If anybody know it, help us sister out. I'll probably still use gut feeling, but you know, I'll say it's actually called this in the spiritual realm. Maybe spiritual insight, being alerted by your Ashar, your guardian angel. I don't know, divine protection. I don't know, but it's a gut feeling. Don't ignore it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and listen to the story after we got done reading Romance of the Red Star. Because right when we got done, I shared it for about 5-7 minutes. All right, y'all. With that being said, it is Monday. I'm sorry, Monday. I'm looking at Monday, but it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday, January the 18th, 2023, day 318 of year 4, reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count, day 1,337. We read in the Romance of the Red Star, pages 10 to 11. And in Big Blue, it was pages 8. Was it 8? I didn't even put the starting page in Big Blue. I think it was page 10 to 12. We'll say page 10. Hold on. Let me not just say it. Let me just look. I just didn't put it in. No, page 11, because it started at verse 20. That's what it was. Page 11 to page 12. In Big Blue, which is in the Book of Jehovah. And after we finished that, we read a little bit more of the Reincarnation chapter, which is chapter 7 in Susan B. Martinez's book entitled Delusions in Science and Spirituality, the Fall of the Standard Model and the Rise of Knowledge from Unseen Worlds. Pretty awesome book. Get it if you don't have it when you get a chance, right? All right, beautiful people. So that is it. Remember, I'm going to share like that little 5-minute clip. Like I said, I think it was 5 minutes with Orlando Brown when I was talking about how you could clearly see the different, we'll just say spirits taking over him doing this interview. And there was, Lord have mercy, there was even one. You know how on Split, when they are fighting for the, when they're fighting to come up who gonna speak next, and he'd be doing like this whole, you can see like something, he fighting within his body or something. He does that. I'm like it's kind of scary, but it's, y'all see. I'm gonna share it with y'all. I'm gonna share y'all the 5-minute clip that I saw first, and then I'm gonna share the full interview that I looked for after I saw the 5 minutes. All right, so full interview. And we talked about him first when we first started reading this and why we talked about him. So if you missed that, just go back to the beginning of the video and I share for a few minutes about this and what I saw. All right, so I shared that, and that's it, y'all. I'll see y'all back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 6:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.